Scene script. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to find success effortlessly, while others struggle, despite having similar circumstances? The answer often lies in the realm of the mind, an intricate labyrinth where our greatest strengths and weaknesses reside side by side. One of these weaknesses, perhaps the most insidious of them all, is the habit of making excuses. Excuses are nothing more than self-imposed limitations. They are the mental barriers that we erect in our path to success. Whether it's "I don't have time" or "I'm not good enough," these excuses hold us back, preventing us from reaching our true potential. But let's dig deeper. Why do we make excuses? Is it fear, laziness, or a lack of confidence? The reality is that it could be any of these, but more often than not, it's a combination of all three. We fear failure, we dread the effort required, and we doubt our abilities. So we make excuses, creating a safety net that shields us from the harsh realities of failure and disappointment. Yet in the grand theater of life, the most successful individuals are those who refuse to be shackled by excuses. These are the people who understand that failure is not a pitfall, but a stepping stone. They are the ones who see effort not as a burden, but as a means to mastery. And they are the ones who, despite their doubts, push themselves to strive for excellence. These individuals possess a mindset that is unyielding in its determination and resilience. They understand that excuses are not the solution, but the problem. They recognize that by eliminating excuses, they remove the self-imposed barriers standing between them and their goals. So the next time you find yourself on the precipice of making an excuse, pause for a moment. Ask yourself if this excuse is a genuine obstacle or a self-imposed limitation. Remember, it's not about having the perfect conditions for success, but about making the most of the conditions you have. When we eliminate excuses, we open the door to limitless potential. Consider the story of James, an ordinary man with extraordinary determination. James was not born into privilege or luck. His life was an uphill climb, riddled with challenges that could easily have been his downfall. Yet James was not ordinary in one significant aspect: his unyielding determination. James hailed from a small town where opportunities were as scarce as water in a desert. He dreamt of becoming a successful entrepreneur, a lofty goal in the eyes of his peers. The lack of resources, guidance, and support were hurdles that could have easily deterred him. Yet he chose not to yield to these obstacles. Instead of saying, "I don't have the resources," he asked, "How can I gather them?" But the road to success was not linear. There were times when James was on the verge of giving up, when the voices of doubt in his head were deafening. He could have excused himself, saying, "I've tried, but it's too tough." But he didn't. He dug deep into his well of resilience, quieted the voices of doubt, and pressed on. He chose to see each failure not as a dead end, but as a detour, a new path to his destination. Then came the harshest blow of all. James's first business venture failed, leaving him in a sea of debt. He could have easily thrown in the towel, citing financial ruin as his excuse. He could have said, "I'm broke, I can't go on." But he didn't. Instead of succumbing to despair, he chose to rise like a phoenix from the ashes. He took up odd jobs, worked tirelessly, and slowly but surely clawed his way out of debt. And then, with a renewed spirit and an unbroken determination, James embarked on his next venture. He had learned from his failures, honed his skills, and was ready to face any challenge head-on. This time, he struck gold. His business took off, soaring to heights he had only dared to dream of. James's story is not just about his eventual success, it's about the journey he undertook, the challenges he faced, and the excuses he could have made but chose not to. It's about his resilience, his determination, and his unwavering belief in himself. It's about his decision to keep going, no matter how tough the going got. Like many of us, James could have drowned in a sea of excuses. He could have let his circumstances define his destiny, but he didn't. He chose to swim against the current, to fight his battles without excuses. And in doing so, he defined his own destiny. He found his success. James fought his battles without excuses, and in doing so, he found his success. What did James do differently that led him to success? Let's breeze through this. James didn't have a magic wand, nor did he stumble upon a secret formula. His path to success was paved with determination, discipline, and a mindset that squashed excuses before they could even take root. Now imagine James standing at the foot of a mountain, his goal at the peak. Excuses were like boulders blocking his way. But instead of turning back, he addressed each boulder, each excuse, and found a way around it. The first excuse? Lack of time. James worked a full-time job, had a family to support, and barely a minute to himself. But he didn't let that stop him. He realized that time wasn't something you find, it's something you make. So he started waking up an hour earlier, using his lunch breaks more efficiently, and dedicating parts of his weekends to his goal. The second excuse? Lack of resources. James didn't have a fancy degree or a robust bank account, but instead of letting that deter him, he turned it into motivation. He sought out free resources online, borrowed books from the library, and reached out to mentors for guidance. And the third excuse? Fear of failure. This boulder was the largest and most daunting. But James knew that failure was not a dead end, but a detour. He embraced the possibility of failure, understanding that it was an opportunity for growth and learning. James's journey wasn't easy. There were days when he wanted to give up, when the excuses seemed too big to overcome. But he didn't. He broke them down, one by one, converting them into action steps. He demonstrated that excuses are just mental roadblocks that keep us from realizing our potential. They're comfort zones that we build around ourselves. It's easier to say, I can't, than to face the challenge and say, I will. But remember, excuses don't get results, actions do. And James is living proof of that. James broke down his excuses one by one and replaced them with actionable steps towards his goal. Now think about your own journey. What excuses are you allowing to hold you back? It's a tough question, isn't it? But it's time to face it head on. You see, success isn't just about reaching the destination, it's about the journey, the struggles, and most importantly, the ability to overcome the hurdles that come your way. And excuses? They're the biggest hurdles of them all. But here's the good news. You can conquer them. Yes, you. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. How? Let's break it down. First and foremost, set clear, concise, and achievable goals. Know what you want and why you want it. A clear vision of your destination makes the journey less daunting and more manageable. If your goal is to write a novel, don't just aim for a book one day. Set tangible targets like 2,000 words a week. This way, you're not just dreaming, you're planning. Second, maintain a positive mindset. Excuses often stem from fear or self-doubt, so shift your perspective. Instead of thinking, what if I fail? Ask yourself, what if I succeed? Remember, every successful person was once a beginner who didn't quit. Positivity isn't about ignoring the challenges, it's about believing in your ability to overcome them. Finally, take consistent action. Success isn't a one-time event, it's a series of small, consistent steps. Don't wait for the perfect moment, start now. Write those first few words of your novel, apply for that job, start that workout regimen. Every step, no matter how small, takes you closer to your goal. So challenge your excuses, question them, defy them. And when they start to waver, replace them with determination, resilience, and tenacity. Remember, you are stronger than your excuses. And your journey, it's yours and yours alone. Your path to success begins the moment you decide to stop making excuses. Success is not a matter of luck or circumstance, but a result of determination and action. We've traversed quite a journey today. We've dissected the anatomy of excuses, unveiled the power of an unstoppable spirit, and charted an excuse-free path to success. But all of these are just words until you decide to turn them into action. It's easy to watch a video, nod in agreement, and then carry on with life as usual. The real challenge lies in applying what you've learned to your everyday life. It's about getting up each morning, looking at your goals, and saying, no more excuses, only action. So, what's your first step going to be? Will you let another day slip by filled with could-haves and should-haves? Or will you seize the day, take that first step, and start turning your dreams into reality? Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So take that step today. No excuses, only action.